Single dad accidentally sees CEO changing. His life changes forever. Rain poured so heavily that the city skyline disappeared behind a gray curtain. Ethan, a 36-year-old single father, tightened his worn work jacket and carried a heavy trash bag through the silent executive floor of one of the city's tallest office towers. His mind wasn't on work. It was on his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, who was waiting at home with a fever, and the unpaid bills sitting on their tiny kitchen table. One accidental step toward the wrong office would change everything he believed about people, pain, and second chances forever. Before we continue, if you believe kindness can change lives and that everyone deserves a second chance, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Shadow of Kindness. Your support helps these emotional stories reach more hearts around the world. Ethan had once owned a small auto repair shop, but after his wife passed away from a sudden illness, everything slowly fell apart. Medical bills swallowed his savings, customers disappeared while he spent months caring for his wife, and eventually he lost the business he had built with years of hard work. Now he worked nights as a janitor in a luxury corporate building while raising Lily alone. Every exhausting shift reminded him of how far life had pushed him, yet every morning he still smiled for his daughter because she deserved hope, even when he had almost none left. That evening, the executive floor was unusually quiet. Most employees had already gone home after celebrating the company's record-breaking financial quarter. Ethan carefully cleaned the polished hallways, empty conference rooms, and elegant offices, trying to finish early so he could return home before midnight. As he reached the CEO's private office, he noticed the door slightly open. Believing the room was empty, he gently pushed it wider while carrying another trash bag. The moment he entered, his heart nearly stopped. Across the room, the company's CEO, Victoria Lawson, stood with her back turned as she carefully adjusted a medical support brace beneath her partially changed blouse. Large purple scars covered much of her back and shoulders. They were not ordinary marks. They looked like the painful reminders of burns or severe injuries. Shocked and embarrassed, Ethan immediately lowered his eyes and stepped backward, apologizing as quickly as he could before quietly closing the door. His hands trembled. He expected security guards to escort him from the building within minutes. Instead, silence filled the hallway. Ethan finished his cleaning while fear tightened inside his chest. Losing this job would mean losing the apartment, and losing the apartment could mean losing custody of Lily. Every second felt heavier than the last. The following evening, Ethan was surprised when Human Resources informed him that the CEO wanted to see him personally. Every terrifying possibility raced through his mind. He straightened his inexpensive uniform and slowly walked toward the luxurious executive office, expecting his final paycheck. Victoria sat behind a massive desk overlooking the city. She appeared confident, calm, and respected, yet Ethan noticed the quiet exhaustion hidden behind her composed expression. Instead of anger, she thanked him for immediately leaving the room and respecting her privacy. She explained that very few people knew about the injuries she had suffered years earlier during a devastating factory explosion that had nearly taken her life while she rescued trapped employees. The scars had healed physically, but emotionally they remained painful reminders she preferred to keep hidden. Ethan quietly admitted that he understood more than she imagined. Pain, he explained, often hides beneath clothing, smiles, and professional success. Some scars are visible. Others never appear on the skin at all. For the first time in years, Victoria felt someone speaking to her as a person instead of as a billionaire executive. She asked about Ethan's life, and although he rarely shared his struggles, something about her honesty encouraged him to speak openly. He described losing his wife, his business, and almost his hope, yet he refused to let Lily grow up believing kindness had disappeared from the world. Over the next several weeks, their paths crossed often. Victoria would sometimes stay late reviewing company reports while Ethan cleaned nearby offices. Their conversations remained simple, focusing on resilience, family, and the quiet strength ordinary people carry through impossible days. She discovered that Ethan possessed remarkable mechanical skills and extraordinary problem-solving abilities. Years of repairing engines had taught him patience, precision, and creativity that many executives never developed. One evening, the building's backup generator suddenly failed during a powerful storm, threatening to destroy millions of dollars worth of computer systems. Engineers estimated several hours before repairs could begin. Without hesitation, Ethan examined the equipment himself. Drawing on years of mechanical experience, he quickly identified a damaged component that others had overlooked. Within minutes, the emergency systems returned to life, saving the company from enormous financial losses. Victoria watched quietly from the control room. She realized the man carrying trash bags each night possessed talents that had been buried beneath tragedy rather than lost. Instead of offering charity, she offered opportunity. Ethan was invited to join the company's facilities engineering department, where his technical knowledge could finally be recognized. The promotion doubled his salary almost immediately. More importantly, it restored something money could never buy: his confidence. Life slowly changed for father and daughter. Lily no longer worried about moving from apartment to apartment. She returned to school smiling instead of silently carrying the fear of losing everything. Ethan finally replaced her broken bicycle, filled their refrigerator without calculating every dollar, and for the first time in years, they laughed more than they cried. Meanwhile, Victoria found herself changing as well. Ethan's quiet compassion reminded her that leadership was never about impressive offices or expensive suits. True leadership meant seeing people beyond their job titles. She introduced new employee assistance programs, expanded healthcare benefits, and created emergency financial support for workers facing personal crises. Hundreds of families benefited from policies inspired by one